Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Love to Live Healthy show. I'm your co-host, Josephine Fitzpatrick, author of Cheat Day Rules and Shed the Pounds, both available on Amazon. I'm a nutrition, wellness, and weight loss expert and co-owner of Innovation Healthy Market in Woodbury, New York, alongside my son and co-host, Jake Fitzpatrick. For the past 14 years, Innovation Healthy Market has been helping thousands of clients and customers all over the world live healthier, happier lives. Our store at 8025 Jericho Turnpike in Woodbury is open 7 days a week, offering hundreds of freshly prepared healthy meals and snacks. The best part is, you don't have to be a client to shop with us. We welcome everyone. We have customers from all over Long Island who visit us daily, and we also ship tri-state. We offer free Long Island delivery every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and even hand deliver to New York City every Tuesday. Plus, we're on Uber Eats 7 days a week. So if you're looking to lose weight or simply eat healthier, come visit us. Everything in the store is made fresh daily. Everything from high protein, low carb, gluten-free, sugar-free, plant-based vegan, and keto meals. And of course, our famous detox program. Our team is always available to help you one-on-one when you walk in. We'll guide you, answer your questions, and help you get exactly what you need. For more information on our meals, deliveries, and weight loss programs, visit innovationhealthymarket.com or follow us on Instagram at Innovation Weight Loss. Today, I'm here with Jake Fitzpatrick. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
And happy November. It's the perfect time to talk about new energy, new focus, and a new you. The first of the month is always the best time to do that type of reset. Don't you agree?
Definitely. Especially, things to look forward to as well, like, birthdays, holidays,
right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's just
I love
my
November.
birthday.
I know. Yeah. Yours and your brother's.
Well, that's a funny thing, actually, is like we always talk about, like, there's always things that kind of throw you off track. And it's like, I guess you can speak from experience, like, how have you always stayed on track more knowing that you have 3 boys that have all birthdays in November, where it's like, okay, you got to have cake 3 different times in 1 month. You got to have all the dinners 3 different times in 1 month. But I guess for you it's easy because we just condense them to one day.
Well, we only just started doing that in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But when you guys were younger, even when we did do all 3, because, there were a time where you were not sharing your birthdays, it's really like anything else. We always preach, you have 1 cheat a week. And that's what I would do. That would be my cheat, you know. I never used it as, well, it's my son's birthday as an excuse. Instead, I said that will be my cheat day, and whenever it falls, it falls. And that's what, And again, I think it just comes down to having a plan and sticking to it, you know. And I think that's what November, like any other month, but when it's the first, it's not like any other day in the month. It's like, okay, this is a chance to restart.
Exactly. And then just like you said, it's, what'd you say? It's always nice to have the first of the month, right? It's always nice to start. The cool thing that I always try to look at it from because of course motivation's good, but I feel like people oftentimes more so, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, maybe more than 50% of the time people don't actually want motivation. They use it as a crutch. Because to me, everyone always loves saying, especially, we always talk about January, which is, not far away. But, everyone loves always saying, fresh month, new start. This is my month, and it's the last 2 months are supposed to be your month, too.
Right, yeah.
But you said it was, last month, and then you said it was the month before. But, I guess in a psychological way of thinking about it, your brain doesn't just reset because the date changed, It just resets because you've given yourself permission to do that.
To start again.
That's the only reason. The calendar doesn't strike November 1st, and immediately something clicks in your head oh, it's now. You've only done that for yourself. So
you've given yourself that motivation to use the first as a starting point.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where the whole thing of the temporary landmarks come in, because as soon as the date changes or as soon as an event pops up, those things that are specific dates always trigger your brain and kind of trick it in a way to saying, oh, okay, this is my opportunity now to go from the old me to the new me.
Right.
And it's my whole point is we're trying to kind of train everybody, or even ourselves, to, you should have that on a normal day-to-day basis.
That's the thing, though. It's hard. It's really hard. And just like you can train it to do what you want it to do, that can work in both ways. So just for example, two things I was just thinking about when you were talking. One, most people don't realize it takes the average person, more than 10 times to try something before they actually get it. So like the average smoker, they'll quit like 15 to 20 times before they actually quit.
I was just going to say, how does that work with like smoking?
Yeah, exactly.
Or drinking even?
It's you just keep quitting. So when you say like, okay, well, last month that first was supposed to be it, but that's okay. That's when we say you got to move forward. It didn't, and for whatever reason, you got to just keep trying. Like, what choice do you have?
Yeah.
But the other thing that I wanted to say is it can also work against you with the dates, because like right now, while we're saying it's the first, reset. Do use this month to your advantage. Have a plan, get through it. The flip side, people, like I have a client right now who texted me this morning, and she was like, where do I want to be by January 1st? And I was like, perfect mindset. You don't want to look and go, okay, well, I have Thanksgiving, I have Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever the holidays that are in front of me. I'm going to just start January. Well, then you're going to gain like 10 to 15 pounds in the next 2 months.
Yeah, you might as well just say, okay, for November, December, my goal is to gain weight.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the mindset. That's where your mindset is. If you're going to tell yourself like, okay, I'm just going to start January, I'll just be good until then, you won't be, because you have no plan. You have no guidelines.
What is good?
Yeah.
Because when you actually start in January, aren't you also trying to be good?
No, then you're trying to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, from now, like until then, have the mindset, how low can I get until January 1st?
Yeah.
How much weight can I lose? How strict can I be? And you can do it. Like, listen, Thanksgiving, you really need a plan this month.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, from Thanksgiving, which we'll talk about later in the month, but that's a 15-pound weight gain weekend for most people, 10 to 15 pounds.
Yep.
Because it's such a social weekend. So I am telling you right now, have a plan. Be excited. It's November. Think about, what do you want to get out of November? Where do you want to be by the end of November, by December 1st? How do you want to feel?
Yep.
That's what you have to have your mindset,
Yep, absolutely. You know what I was thinking of when you just said that? The first thing that you said, where you were talking about like when you talk to your clients and everything. The one thing that I'm curious about, because it just ties into this, is like, when you have somebody, say, in your office, because, a lot of people that listen to us now, like, not all of them are clients. So, like, this is interesting to think about. When they're in your office with you and it's like, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're having the same conversation over and over, like, and you hear them, like, do you ever hear anybody say the same thing 3 weeks in a row? Like, okay, like, I'm back on, but they're not losing and they're just gaining, going up. And you see that they're not doing the right things, but they keep saying that they're going to go do the right things now. Do you ever think to yourself, like, what goes through your head of, like, are you listening to what you're saying? Or, like, does it ever go through your head of, like, okay, like, it's kind of time to start, though, Well,
honestly, there's so much more that goes on in the office than that. And with that conversation, so... For example, one client I have that struggles all the time, she also has a very busy life, She's a single parent. She has reasons that, and whether they may be warranted or not, they're reasons to her that why she falls off. And she's constantly gaining and losing the same 5 pounds.
Yep.
And, with her, of course, it's a whole different circumstance because she's lost 25 since she came to me. But now she's kind of stuck because she keeps gaining and losing the same 5 because of what's going on in her life. Me, and I've told her this, I say most of the time that's because you really are okay with how you look right now. You're not your lowest or where you want to be, but you got to a point where you're happy, where when you get dressed, you're okay. And when you have that, it's very easy to constantly like go off and then lose and gain,
Yeah.
Now, people that are miserable with how they look, they tend to do a lot better because they just want to feel better about themselves. They want to get to that better place,
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, I do have people who will go back and forth, but a lot of times it's what's going on in their life. I say it all the time. Most people don't overeat. They don't gain weight because of they're hungry or the food. It's everything that's going on in their life, And that's why even with like the new program I do in East Hampton that I'm bringing to Woodbury, it's a lot of it. We discuss what's going on in your life and how to align that, because you're not going to be able to fix your food and do the right thing by that if you're not fixing what you're lacking in your life. You have to align that first, and then everything else will get better.
Yeah, true. And the reason I brought it up is because, like, everyone knows too, like, you're very no nonsense. So, like, you even have an obligation too as well, like, just whether it be, helping with just the weight loss or, aligning people's lives and helping them kind of get rid of like the excess that they don't need. Like, you kind of have the obligation too to like see someone slipping up over their own mistakes and saying, like, kind of calling them out on it in a polite way, like, so that's why I was asking just curiously, like, how do you go about, calling people out in a way that won't actually break them down but build them up, it's all about kind of, I guess, like you said, everybody's different. I mean, everybody loses weight differently and everybody has different, obstacles that can slow or,
challenges.
Exactly. But, that's interesting, though.
Yeah. It is, and that's why you'll see a lot of times, like, what now you'll really recognize like how great from Thanksgiving to the Christmas break or the holiday break, everyone's going to be so good.
Yeah,
you're going to see everyone on detox, because they got to get ready for their holiday vacation.
Yep, true.
A lot of people start now. It really depends where you're at. Like, we have so many clients who have lost their weight and kept it off. I always say, like, they fluctuate with that 5 to 10 pounds because it's a good place to be. Because what's going to happen for them, they're going to get to after Thanksgiving, they're going to go on detox for a couple of weeks. They're going to get to their lowest weight, and they're going to go on vacation and have the best time.
Yep.
And then they'll do it when they come back, Yep. But for the people who need to lose more weight, they'll start a little earlier now, because, I mean, between summer and then, the holidays in September, October, some people really overdid it. And just, and again, like we say, some people have different challenges in their lives, whether it's personal, financial, whatever it is. And it's, they're trying to deal with that on top of everything else, you know?
Even with the kids back in school, too. It's like, you have practices, you have everything,
Yep.
Kids
Running
aren't
here,
home all
running
day
there.
again,
Yep.
Like they were in the summer doing their own things. It's like, even if you, like, say, oh, I'm going to start the week, like, completely fresh, and then Monday and there's a holiday that you never heard of and the kids are off from school and it's like, oh, I guess I can't start today.
It's so funny you say that. I just said that to a client because she felt like she was doing so good and then she just started struggling. And I said, well, if you look at your last couple of weeks, she's a teacher. I said, if you look at your last couple of weeks, you had 2 holidays. So your schedule is off right there because when you're off, your kids are off.
Yeah.
And they had a short mini trip and even though she looks amazing, she's not gaining a pound. It's just she doesn't feel the same because when you're not on that schedule, that causes you to not have the same control.
Yes.
And control is everything when you're trying to do the right thing by your body, by your mind, by your work, by your family.
Even when you're doing all the right things, if you don't feel like you're in control, then it can still stifle.
Exactly. It throws everything off.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. So, like, that was the mindset. So now, she's back in her routine. And I'm like, just stick to this now until Thanksgiving because that's the next holidays,
Yes.
And she's feeling really good again, and that's what happens. It's like anything else. We tend to, once we lose a little control, some people go completely off the rails. Some people a little bit where they can pull it back right away. Everyone's different.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny, like the question I have too is, like after week, say, because we're in November 1st right now, like, so after week 1 of November, why do most people typically fade after that first week? Because everybody always has the same amount of energy going into that first week, but what causes others to fade and others to stay on, So it's like, because you can only rely so much on the natural chemicals of your brain, like, the dopamine rush that you get and everything. Like, you go into it like full, gung-ho and you're like, okay, I got all my things ready for success. Like, there's no possible way I could fail, and then the motivation's always high, but, you still have that bridge between the discipline and like the want, so it's like, you look at something that you may want for dinner and you're like, oh, wait, I already forgot. I'm supposed to be good now. And then, as you keep going forward with it, like, what kind of separates those that keep the momentum of going forward and then those that fade a little faster?
I think the most thing is that I would say the top thing. Mm-hmm. You have people who still have not learned to live the all or nothing. And when they go off, they go off.
Gotcha.
And by the time they get back on, they feel defeated.
Mm-hmm. So is this typically something that, like, if you're a veteran of weight loss, like, like you've been down this road before, or is it typically like, the difference between like a veteran and then like a beginner, or is it just kind of like a mindset thing?
I think both. I think 100%, like the people that have been with me for a long time, they've learned you have a moment and you get back on.
Yep.
And then that's it. You keep moving forward.
Yep.
You have people where it comes into mindset. They'll go off and they won't even think to go back on the next day. They'll go, I'll start Monday.
Yep.
And that Monday never comes. It's every Monday,
Yep.
because they've already
Monday
gone off
and
the first already came and went. And then, I'll start Monday. But then, Thanksgiving's next week, so I'll just wait.
Yeah.
That's their mindset. Yeah. So a lot of it always comes down to mindset. But I think a big help is when you learn that, you have to be able to get right back on. Like, don't give yourself the excuses, because a lot of times those excuses are you want to be off. Like, you'll say to yourself, like, I'll just start Monday, because right away you're taking the pressure off yourself that I do not have to follow the rest of the week.
Yep.
I can eat what I want. I don't have to feel hungry now.
Yep.
All of those excuses, you're giving yourself, like, to take that relief, that pressure off.
Yep.
And it's always a matter of, like, you have to think to yourself, do I want to feel out of control? Because most of the time, and this happens a lot on vacation, and this is a really good point. When people are on vacation, they're so excited to go because they've been so control. They're excited to go. They're doing the right things. They go on vacation. They feel great. By Wednesday or Thursday, they'll tell me, I can't wait to come home. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You have 3 more days left. They're like, I feel so out of control. I can't wait to get home and get back on my schedule, because that control makes you feel good. So you think when you're in control that you can't wait to eat everything and be out of control. But the truth is, it's such a short moment, because once you do it and you lose that control, all you want really is to be back in control.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Which is where the cheat helps so much. When the cheat's even a form of control.
Yeah.
You have it once a week. You're controlling yourself to have it and get back on the next day. And it shows you that, like, you don't always feel great after you have it.
Yeah.
You think you're going to. You think you can't wait to eat whatever, you're looking to have. But when you do, you feel like, okay, wait a second. I don't feel good. I feel bloated. And the only good thing about the cheat is you don't feel like you're out of control, because it's part of the program. So you feel like, okay, I had it. I'm allowed to have it, so I didn't do anything wrong.
Yep.
And now I just go back on the next day. And that helps you on so many levels, It helps you have what you want, whether you enjoy it or not, whether it's as good as you thought it was going to be, because a lot of times you eat it and you're like, that was nowhere near how good my mind thought it was going to be, And it's just because I couldn't have it all week that I thought it was going to be amazing, but then when I ate it, it wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
And but then you get back on the next day and you have that control instantly back. So it's all part of it, which again, I think helps people learn the getting right back on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the key thing that I actually took away from that, of what you just said, was, so you think it's almost like necessary for people to actually fall off a little bit, because then it kind of teaches them going forward, like, okay, like when I was, breaking down about my fall off, like, a month ago, it wasn't really the worst thing for me. It actually kind of helped me. Like,
absolutely.
So those failures, those slip
you.
ups and everything, like, they actually kind of help you going forward.
Always.
Because it almost kind of, what's the word? Like, normalizes your next fall off.
Exactly.
Because it's not a way for you to say, okay, well, I fell off last time, so I know I'll be good if I fall off this time. Like, it's not really that. It's more so about, not beating yourself up so much and being, because if you were just on every week and you're like, oh, I don't even do a cheat day, like, let's face it, you're just going to be miserable.
You're going to be miserable.
You're going to be miserable. So Like, those cheat days, when you actually hit that cheat day, it's going to feel even better. And then when you go on, week 2, week 3, week 4, and, you have a major slip up that was, completely your fault, it's actually good for some people because they can say, okay, but I know how to get back on them. So, like, just knowing how to get back
it's huge.
is so important.
It's huge.
Because if you go forward and, like, you take the miserable route of just, staying on every single day and you never have a fall off, your first fall off is going to be times 10 of,
and you're not going to be able to get back on.
Yeah.
And, it's very interesting what you just said. I love what you said because what the slip-ups or what those little times where you don't do the right thing and why they're so good for you, because it's life. It's normal life.
Yeah.
You have to have those. That's what makes the whole program normal.
Yeah.
You can do that, get right back on.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is, depending on how bad your slip up was, you'll either maintain. You won't gain because you got right back on.
Yep. Yep.
But I think that's so important because you have to learn. This is real life. That's why when you said before about not having a cheat day, people will say to me, like, is it okay if I don't? And I'm like, I always recommend it.
Yeah.
You need to have it because
you don't know it now, but
mentally you need it, but physically, mindset, you need to learn I can have it and get back on. If you go through never having it, it's going to happen just like what you just said. You're going to have it, and you're never going to be able to get back.
And that's also when people also develop, I feel, a terrible relationship with food, as well as a terrible relationship in correlation to eating food while also feeling good. Because that cheat day also, for a lot of people, especially a lot of the clients I know, whether it be the way they looked when they started, the way they feel, that's all,
attributed?
Yeah, it's all attributed, but it's also, like, all an outcome of your relationship with food, I feel.
Absolutely,
because once you have that bad relationship with food, it's going to then translate into having a bad relationship with the way you feel or the way you think you look. And then, if you go forward, like, 365 days without having a cheat day, that fear in your mind is just going to build up so much more, thinking like, well, I don't want to go down that dark route again of, like, cheating, because you won't even enjoy it. You won't enjoy that cheat day.
Right.
So that's why it kind of, like, opening up, like, it's kind of like weaning off, know, because
and it does help your
relationship. It kind of opens up and broadens your mindset of, like, okay, it's fine if I cheat because I'm still doing great.
And I'm on program.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And you're right,
it's funny,
100%.
The cheat day is actually, like, you're not even cheating.
You're not cheating because it's part of the program. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the whole mindset.
I just got that after 12 years. But
that's the whole mindset, because it does help you build a healthy relationship with all kinds of food,
And that's, like, part of your alignment thing,
That's
right?
the part of alignment, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just, like, good
it's
or
so
bad.
Much more than the number going down.
Exactly.
It's about your relationship with yourself, the positive relationship with food, the positive relationship to go forward into the next day and say, you know what, I'm at a good number. I know I can afford it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
not living perfect, but
exactly.
Living in balance, really.
And then also too, the last thing I'll say is, like, what you said before, that like that kind of that opportunity to, like, feel good based off of, like, the self-control, like it kind of builds up your confidence almost. Like, November is a great month. Every month is a great month to start, but November especially is a great month because, like you said, you have December and then January when everybody typically starts. So the real, like, flex to me is having that self-control under all the chaos. Is like, you have November, all the holidays, December, holidays, January, everyone starts. November gives you, like, that, that test before everything all comes falling down in December. And, you'll either spend the holidays where you're supposed to be happy, proud of yourself, or you'll spend the holidays where you're supposed to be happy, miserable.
Right.
So almost put it into the sense of, like, I have no choice, because what are you going to do? Like, and I don't, I'm going to be kind of like a devil's advocate here, but, like, are you going to ruin everybody else's time because you feel bad about yourself?
Yeah, right.
That happens. So, like, I'm saying, like, it's not really fair to everybody else as well if you're upset with yourself because of your own decisions, and then everybody else has to pay the consequences for that because you don't feel good.
Exactly.
And it's like, everybody's going to be happy during the holidays, and if you're going to be, like, you know,
Not
the
feeling
Debbie
great.
Downer
Yeah,
of the group
right.
because you know that you didn't make the right decisions, it's kind of on you.
Right.
You know, and like the last thing about that is it becomes leverage at a point because you don't even need to do more. You just need to not fall off.
Right.
You know?
100%. I agree. I love that. And it's so true.
Yeah.
I
hope that's okay to say.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm not trying to, make anybody feel guilty,
listen,
but it's
something people should think about.
Absolutely.
Do not go to that Thanksgiving or that holiday party and just be like, no, I can't eat because you already did all your damage. Like you're making
they work so hard on making all those food.
Don't wake
making all
up
that food.
not putting your favorite outfit on and being miserable about it because we're telling you right now it's the first. You have time to feel good.
Yeah, and then don't go to the party late and then leave the party early and take your family away from it because you don't feel comfortable.
Exactly. Very good points. Love it. Very good.
I mean, it's a little.
All right. Well, we'll end it here.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and please remember always you can stop in Innovation 8025 Jericho Turnpike in Woodbury, New York, or you can visit our website Innovation Healthy Market. Or you can call the store 516-802-5055. We're open 7 days a week. We're always there to help you with your shopping, orders, or your weight loss needs. When you come in, ask for me, Jake. I'll be happy to show you around the store. Or if you're looking for your one-on-one plan with Josephine, I can make your first free consultation.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.